So close your eyes for a second. And now think of chocolate. So what comes to mind? Maybe a childhood memory, maybe a celebration, maybe a reward at the end of a hard day. For me, it's the smell of my mother's chocolate cake. Warm, sweet, filling in the kitchen, making everything feel safe. We're in this beautiful city of Perugia, in Umbria, and maybe for those living here, it's also a childhood memory of a smell filling in the town. Chocolate is not just food. It's an emotion, it's a memory. For many of us, it's literally food for the soul. And yet, for something so present in our lives, we know surprisingly little about where it comes from and what it leaves behind. We consume chocolate emotionally, yet we produce it industrially. And that gap has consequences. Because the least likely thing you might think about when you eat chocolate is cacao. Cacao is a tropical fruit with large seeds wrapped in white pulp that tastes more like a passion fruit. The cacao fruit is grown in hot rainforests, humid tropics, and ecosystems that are now among the most climate vulnerable on Earth. And yet, without cacao, there's no chocolate. So today I want to talk to you about cacao. Not because we don't know it, but because we think we do. And cacao matters. It matters economically, it matters culturally. Roughly 50 million people worldwide whose livelihood depend on it. It has always mattered. The Mayas, the Aztecs, valued it so highly that it was used as a currency. Even today, some producing countries, in some producing countries, cacao is not overseen by the Ministry of Agriculture, but by the Ministry of Finance. Some cacao warehouses have the highest level of security. Why? Because cacao has power. But that power is unevenly distributed. So the real question isn't whether cacao or chocolate matters, it's who it matters to and at what cost. And if chocolate is that powerful, that meaningful, then we need to ask a simple question: what is its footprint? Our footprint is a trace of our choices. It tells a story about where we've been, our choices that we made along the way. And chocolate leaves many footprints. It leaves a cultural footprint, it leaves an environmental footprint, and it also leaves a heart footprint. We say, we give chocolate to say, I love you. We use it to celebrate life's most important moments and celebrations and emotions. During World War II, it was included in soldiers' rations for energy and morale. So chocolate connects us across borders, languages, and cultures. Once a delicacy reserved for royalty, today it's everywhere. It's affordable, and it's democratized. But the connections between the people, between those who grow cacao and those who enjoy chocolate are fragile. This is the invisible disconnect. I've spent years working in development and in agrobiodiversity, and the last 15 years in cacao, in research and sustainability, and in conversations with those who grow it. And the one thing that struck me the most was this. Chocolate is produced through a geographical split system. Cacao grows in hot, humid tropics regions, but chocolate is made and mostly consumed far away in cooler places. Even the chocolate bar is engineered for that world, stable on a shelf, melting only at body temperature. So between farmers and consumers, there isn't just distance, there is a distance in visibility, in value, and in voice. And that's where the paradox begins. In wine, we celebrate origins. In olive oil, we talk about terroir. In coffee, we may know the variety, the altitude, the roast. But with chocolate, we rarely ask. We know it's milk, dark or white. We may know what percentage of cacao it has, but not where it comes from, not who grew it, not how it was fermented. Many cacao producers have never tasted chocolate, let alone made from their own beans. So imagine growing grapes all your life, but never tasting wine, or enjoying olive oil without ever having seen an olive tree. In Ecuador, for example, a farmer may never taste chocolate made from their own beans, and yet a chocolate maker in Japan, for example, a chef chocolatier, may never set foot on a cacao farm. Like wine, chocolate is a dialogue between two worlds, two knowledge systems, but one ingredient. And without connection, excellence on one side cannot exist without the other, and neither can value. So now let's talk about the footprint that truly matters, sustainability. So cacao is under threat. Over the past 2 years, global production has dropped by more than 40% in some regions. And why is that? Because climate change is drying growing regions. There's longer droughts, rising temperatures, pests and diseases are spreading faster. Climate change is already shaping where cacao can grow. The genetic diversity, which is the insurance policy of cacao, is under threat. And these are not abstract risks. They affect real communities, real families, real futures. Chocolate is becoming a climate indicator. In many producing countries, cacao farming simply doesn't pay enough to sustain a family. Farmers depend on additional work, on uncertain markets, and on unpredictable climates. And yet, cacao is not just another crop. It's a living system held together by biodiversity, by knowledge, and by care. And without diversity, cacao cannot adapt to climate change, pests, and diseases. And without cacao, there's no chocolate. That's the major contradiction. Chocolate is indulgence, flavor, and pleasure. But cacao production is too often uncertainty and invisibility at the start of the chain. This is the footprint we don't see. Of course, every challenge in an industry is an invitation to responsibility. And responsibility begins with curiosity. Not with guilt and not with perfection, but curiosity. Asking, where does this chocolate come from? Who grew the cacao? Under what conditions? How was it fermented and who made it into chocolate? So traceability matters because traceability does something very powerful. It connects value to origin. And when farmers are visible, they can access better market, they can receive feedback on quality, they can negotiate fairer prices. When farmers are recognized, they can invest in their lands, in their families, in the future of cacao itself. Because chocolate is the result of thousands of decisions by farmers, scientists, artisans, and consumers. So traceability is not about control. It makes everyone visible. It empowers farmers. And when farmers are empowered, everyone wins. The chocolate makers, the chefs, the consumers, the communities. And one cannot excel without the other. So what can we do? Because yes, consumers matter. Not by eating more chocolate, but by eating better chocolate. And studies have shown that when consumers shift from quality over quantity, value increases without increasing farmland. So let's think about chocolate in a new way. Not just a product, but as a human connection, a human footprint. Choosing chocolate that tells a story, that values origin, that recognizes excellence, not just in the final product, but at the beginning of the chain. So the solution is to see it, to value it, and choose better. Every choice leaves a trace, and every bite leaves a footprint. So the question is not whether we leave one, the question is which one. Thank you.